this is the last DC superhero movie that is being put out this year. So how did Blue Beetle stack up to the other films that came out in the DCUO and other superhero films in the same genre? Come find out. Welcome to Cine Here, where you come for all of your media needs. My name is Ray, and today I am reviewing Blue Beetle, directed by Angel Manuel Soto, starring Shoho Mahadiana and George Lopez. This film is about Jaime Reyes finding the scarab and gaining superpowers and having to save his family because of that. I love seeing films with a different cultural perspective than we normally see on the big screen here in America. Now, I don't know how authentic it is of how the culture actually is, but I do love to see different cultures reflected on the big screen, and I think that Blue Beetle did a good job of actually showing another culture and perspective. And one of the biggest things that they wanted to hone in on in this film was family. And no, not like Fast and the Furious, but actually the real, legit blood family, and that dynamic is probably the best thing about this film. Unlike Shazam, Fury of the God, and other Shazam films that try that whole family aspect and really not actually getting there, this one felt like a more real and authentic family. And Jaime Reyes, the character in this film, actually felt like somebody that was believable. And it's probably because he is played by an actor that a lot of people know from the hit series Cobra Kai. And even in that TV show, Solo is showing how good of an actor he actually is. He is one of those actors that a lot of people fall in love with because of how down to earth and normal he seems in the scenes that he is in. I also want to give props to George Lopez for bringing the comedic relief in this film. And one thing about comics over people or actors who just try to be funny is they know how to actually bring this humor to light without making it feel forced. Are there cheesy moments in this film? Absolutely. Is some of them involving George Lopez? Absolutely. But more likely than not, a lot of the things he done and said that were meant to be funny landed with me, at least. And I think most people will enjoy his humor overall in the film. Flash had a budget of over $200 million, and the CGI in that film was spot T. In this film, with a reported budget of over $120 million, I think that Blue Beetle's CGI was actually spot on. It wasn't the greatest cinema CGI we have ever seen, but I do think that it was a very much so solid CGI film, especially considering that they were thinking about making this movie a streaming service film only. So the fact that they not only turn something that could have been something that you will only stream into a movie that you will see on the big screen and it still look good has to be commended. Not only is family important, but so is giving a like to this video. If you are enjoying it so far, it will be greatly appreciated. Back to review. I thought the pacing of this film was good. I would have loved a little more action near the beginning, but anytime you are dealing with an origin story superhero film, we know that they typically lack as much action as maybe some of the sequels and other related projects. So I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of action near the beginning, but the action I did get, I enjoyed. And the third act really did pick up the action, and that leads us right into the pacing. The pacing of this film was actually really good. I don't think there were a lot of dry spots, and I don't think that it sped up in places that it shouldn't. I think everything flowed great in this film. Now, some of the biggest negatives of this film was it didn't really go anywhere that other superhero films have not gone in the past. I know we are at a point where the superhero market is being so oversaturated that at this point it's almost hard to give the audience something they either haven't seen before or make it feel different or new enough that they enjoy what they see. And the superhero fatigue does not exist within me because I love superhero films and I still want more of them and more TV shows and more shows like The Boys and others. But I do completely understand people having that fatigue. And this film, I might just be another layer of that fatigue for the ones that are already feeling it. And it doesn't help that he got this such generic villain by the name of Omac, who is just, it feels so much like Iron Man 2. Like, it's not really nothing there outside of a man in a suit trying to wreak some sort of vengeance. We never really get a solid backstory on this character. All that we get is a flashback near the third act of the film, and it just does not help out why we care about his intentions. And the big bad or the big boss in this film was the same. It was exactly the same. It was somebody that just wanted money and profit, and it didn't really do anything new. And that is where the fatigue comes in, right? Like, that is when people have issues with films. It's like there's a million ways to skin an apple or a cat or whatever the phrase is, and I'm tired of seeing the same 2 or 3 being done. There is more than a shady corporation trying to do things for profit. It has to be more than just that. And there's a lot of reasons it could be, and I want to see more of those being displayed. Maybe if they get another film, if this film is successful, we might be able to get a better villain. In conclusion, I would have to give a Blue Beetle a 7.5 out of 10. I do believe that this film is a little bit better than average just because of the family dynamic that I think they did a good job of cultivating in this film and making it feel believable and authentic. There are emotional set pieces that come into play in this film that actually do a good job delivering on the family dynamic. And that is my favorite part about Blue Beetle. Not only are we getting a hero that is as old as the 1930s, but we are also getting a family dynamic that was done correctly. It's just that the fatigue of superhero films and the lack of anything new is dragging this film down to not be as great as it could have been if maybe this film came out in the early 2000s. If you enjoyed this review, make sure that you give it a like. If you want to see more of my content, please subscribe to my channel so that you can do so. And do not let the conversation in here jump in those comments so we can continue this conversation. Not only can we talk about Blue Beetle, but we can talk about the best superhero movie so far this year. We only have one more left, and then we can decide who won this year, DC or Marvel. And don't forget, you see me here.